Today we're going to be talking about Cintas and the bundling of services with them. My name's Eddie. I'm a uniform rental expert and a uniform rental expert witness and an expert consultant in the uniform rental industry. I work with laundries. I work with mostly business owners and lawyers who are having problems with uniform rental companies. So the bundling with Cintas, this is typically for them, it moves them into a direction where they're going to be able to keep your business for life or for a longer period of time. I have in my possession several contracts which has the bundling clauses in there. So definitely take a look at that and make sure that you're not getting into something that you're going to regret later on in life. In my opinion, when you are committed to them after you sign this 5-year agreement, you become committed to them and obligated to them for the term of that agreement, but they're not necessarily obligated or committed to you based upon some of the clauses that I see in the contract, and that's my personal opinion. Knowing what I know as an expert in the laundry industry, I wouldn't bundle any of the services or products with any company or any vendor. Now let's answer this question. Why wouldn't Cintas be committed to you? The first reason is because when you try to unbundle or cancel one of your products or your services, what's going to happen? I mean, think about it. This is a real life scenario, because if I go to Coke and I say I want 12 pallets of soda, they're probably going to give me a break on the price, a better deal than if I shopped at Vaughn's or Ralph's. Now, if I said I would like to buy 12 cases from you or 12 six-packs, they're probably going to tell me, hey, go on down to Vaughn's or Ralph's because we can't give you any better deal for just that small volume. It's the same principle that applies in this case. And there's not anything necessarily wrong with that. That happens all the time. And so, but we need to understand that because you could be looking at longer pricing in the future based upon other clauses that are in the contract. And the second reason that Cintas might not necessarily be committed to you is their price increase. Okay, they do have a yearly price increase, which will typically happen on your anniversary date. Now, that again, this is okay. This is natural. We got to take into account inflation, right? All businesses do that, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. Where we get into a problem is when we come into the what we call in the industry off-cycle price increases. Which basically the clauses in the contract give Cintas and all the other uniform rental companies the ability to increase the prices at will. And so in those cases, what I've noticed, there's at least one and sometimes multiple price increases for one customer for just 1 year of the contract. And so after you get into this long-term contract for a while and you've been in it for a couple of years, you realize that you don't actually have the pricing that you initially started with. And so why bundle pricing to get a lower price in the beginning if you're not going to get that lower pricing later on in the contract? And so that will steadily increase your bill. The third reason that Cintas won't be committed to you, in my opinion, is because of their automatic renewal policy. Now, Cintas has one of the strictest automatic renewal policy out of all the major uniform rental companies. And even most of the independent, from what I've seen, because they're a time constraint and you're limited to a small window on when you can actually cancel the contract. Now, most business owners forget or didn't even realize that they signed a contract to begin with. That's typical in the uniform rental industry. And so when they're thinking they're going to cancel, all of a sudden they find out from their sales rep or from one of the managers at the uniform rental company, hey, guess what? You rolled over for another 5 years. It automatically renewed. So now that 5-year contract that you thought was only going to be for 5 years now turned into 10-year contract. I mean, a decade of your life with one vendor is really difficult to palate. And so you're going to end up paying higher prices because of those regular price increases, the off-cycle price increases, and then when it finally automatically renews, you're stuck. You are stuck. Those great prices that you negotiated in the beginning are long gone. And to me, now this is my personal opinion, it could be kind of like a bait and switch, right? The prices that you had in the beginning because you gave them more business are now working against you, because whereas in the beginning it was lower pricing, now it's higher pricing, and most likely it's going to be higher pricing than you could pay anywhere else. And so you gain in the short term, but over the long term, it's going to come back and bite you. Now imagine in the beginning you have great bundled pricing, but you're locked into a long-term contract, which is going to have several price increases per year, possibly, and it's difficult to cancel with their automatic renewal clause. That's a recipe for possibly paying double and triple the pricing over the long-term contracts that you're going to have with them in the automatic renewals. I've actually seen it myself. I've seen incredible pricing. I've seen crazy pricing. I've seen pricing so high with Cintas that you could almost, and I think in some cases, you could even buy it cheaper off of Amazon and then just throw it in the trash when you're done, and you would still save money as opposed to renting it. So be knowledgeable about how bundling works to keep you as a high-paying customer for life. After all, it doesn't make sense to be committed to a vendor who is not going to be committed to you. That's my personal opinion. Finally, why lock yourself into an ever-increasing prices when you can keep your options open, right? Do you sign 5-year contracts with your office supplies, 5-year contracts with pest control, or 5-year contracts with a water bottling company or your landscaper? No, you don't. So why do it with Cintas? Anyways, like and subscribe to my video for more of these guys. I can't wait to hear you. I give a free obligation, no call. Send me a copy of your invoice, copy of your contract. I will be happy to look at it and see how I can help you lower your pricing, cancel your contract, or write some legal letters for you. All right, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.